It's July the 26th, 2014. This is 508, a show about Worcester. Hi, guys!
Hi!
And today we're on Indian Lake in Worcester with Jim Kirsten. Hi, Jim.
Hey, how you doing, Mike?
Brendan Milliken. Hi, Brendan.
How are you, Mike?
Good. I'm Michael Benedetti. And today we're literally
Surrounded by goose.
on Indian Lake, literally on a tiny floating picnic table.
I think this has kind of been our dream all along. Starting doing shows
We're gonna do
from an island.
We're gonna do shows here every week from now on. It's gonna be amazing. We're here in part because Jim lives on the lake, and we're here in part because this lake has been in the news this week. Let me find my. These guys are on this boat talking about the algae issue.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we were gonna have to start this again.
Wait. Oh, are they bringing the beer back?
Yeah.
All right, we don't have to stop it for the beer. Indian Lake has been in the news this week because of blue-green algae infestation. Is that right, Jim?
It has.
Tell me about this.
Well, they shut down the lake for swimming and
Fishing?
because if you ingest it, you could get quite sick.
Okay.
And until the levels of it go down, and they're testing it quite frequently, the city's working together with the state, and all the neighborhood organizations are getting involved,
And what's going to happen? Like at this point, they're sort of hoping that things get cold and there's some rain, and somehow
right now
all the algae go away.
Yeah, the weather conditions right now are ideal for the algae, so it keeps kind of growing a little bit. But if we get a few days of cooler, less humid, rainy weather, it'll flush out a lot of the algae. But the depths of the lake are the deepest part here is probably about 21 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets pretty warm for the algae to grow, and it's gotten to a point where they had to close it down. But I think in good time it'll open up again. So.
Good luck to the lake.
Yeah.
Nice lake.
This is a beautiful spot.
It's a beautiful spot.
What is going on? How are we in Worcester right now? It's so weird.
It's funny. We cross that little bridge. Whenever I come home from work every day, I cross this. There's a little causeway, and
Because this is Sears Island behind us.
And it's I feel like I'm on like a vacation house almost. Coming home from work every day. It's a great place to live, and the community down here is really second to none.
Here they are.
Yeah, those are my neighbors. Our taxi service.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoy it.
Well, we're going to talk about other stuff besides Indian Lake on this week's show, too. We're going to talk about the library. We're going to talk about the Wormtown Brewery, the American Antiquarian Society, and, of course, fan favorite, Worcester's boards and commissions.
No, we're good. Yeah, we're good.
And Jim is on the library board, so you'll especially be helpful here in talking about the library. Maybe first of all, we could talk about the Wormtown Brewery. Speaking of beer, you guys aren't drinking Wormtown beer today.
No, we should have, though. That would have been good product placement. Yeah.
So the Wormtown Brewery,
No
which is on Park Avenue and has been on Park Avenue for only a few years
We're
now,
gonna keep flicking down.
recently won the 2014 Grand National Championship at the U.S. Beer Open in Atlanta. First out of 3,000 entrants of all sizes. It's amazing to me that we have the top brewery in the country or something.
I can't wait to get at it. It's fantastic. I mean, to have something and there were a few different types of their beers that won as well.
It did, yeah. Here's what you have. Have you had this beer yet?
I've had a few of them. I don't know. I've had the Belgian one.
Here's your checklist. This is your checklist. These are the most award-winning beers from Wormtown Brewery. Gold medal winner, Imperial IPA. Gold medal winner, American IPA. Gold medal winner, French/Belgian. Silver medal winner, this is the fourth one you're going to have. Silver medal winner, French/Belgian, Saison.
That's fantastic. I mean, to have such a wide variety of things, it's a local thing that's, right down the street on Park Ave. And, they're moving, I think, to Shrewsbury Street?
Shrewsbury Street soon. Yeah, they're moving out of their location at Peppercorns over on Park Avenue and a solo spot over on Shrewsbury Street.
I love this idea of like a local business and a local artistic endeavor being like nationally award-winning.
And we've actually got we've got a handful of breweries that are coming up as well too. There's the old the bicycle. I can never remember the name of the place down off of Cambridge Street. There's a dude that is starting a small brewery that the name of it is somehow bicycle related.
Okay.
And it's escaping me right now. But yeah, I mean, even just the beer scene in general, places like the Dive and the Abbey and whatnot, it seems like we've actually had an impact in terms of the craft beer movement regionally. It's pretty cool.
That's true. With the legacy of the Dive Bar, which despite its name is this amazing beer bar of many years now, we definitely have been like a beer city from that for a couple of years.
We're doing something right.
Good job, Worcester.
So I just want to just take a second and look at this view right now. I mean, not too many people see that view of Worcester every day.
Or ever.
Yeah. This really is a pretty cool place. So.
We're getting the water is coming over our tiny. We're literally on a tiny plastic raft covered in goose crap right now.
If Gilligan had this raft, he would have had no complaints at all.
It's a great raft. Also this week, or also I guess this month, and another amazing thing, another award for Worcester. The American Antiquarian Society, which also on Park Avenue in Worcester, is one of 10 recipients of this year's National Humanities Medal. So, the head of the AIS, I guess, is in D.C. this week to get this big award. That's amazing. The Antiquarian Society, of course, the world's largest collection of pre-Civil War American printed materials, right here in Worcester.
You know, Worcester's just, it is funny, it is just chock full of all these little institutions that really have such a wide net and you know, they're so unique and valuable to our country. It is, you know, the longer you live here and the longer you get involved and, you know, the more you see, and it's really just an awesome place.
This is definitely my experience of Worcester, is always that there's always this, like, I'm always like discovering something that I'm like, how did I not know this? Like a few years ago, my friend Cindy and I made a documentary about the Antiquarian Society, and I had not realized what a remarkable place it was before that. And I was like, how have I lived in the city for however many years and had no idea what this place really was?
Yeah, and if you go around and ask, you know, various people, have you ever been there? Most will say no. And it's this great hidden gem in the city.
Yeah.
How's it going?
What's up?
Who started painting the wall?
I don't know. I saw that the other day.
I just noticed.
That wasn't us.
No?
No.
What's up?
What's up, brother?
We're doing a little show here for cable access channel 13.
How's it going? Anyway, I just want to recognize the Antiquarian Society for also winning a sweet award this week. One I guess unfortunate piece of news this week is that our head librarian of our library has left the job for reasons I guess unrelated to the library, at least based on press reports. And we have had a lot of libraries in recent years, Jim, and you as a member of the library board have been part of the. You guys are like in charge of the selection and hiring of the head librarian.
Yeah, it's a very unique setup the way it's structured. When Dr. Green, in his will that kind of set up a lot of the funding for the original library, he gave the authority to hire and fire the head librarian to the board of directors, which is appointed by the city council.
Okay.
So we select and we hire and fire pretty much a department head of one of the city's larger departments.
Yeah.
So it is a little unique.
So I just want to recap for people who don't follow library stuff what the head librarian situation has been in recent years. In 2009, Penny Johnson left the job. She had been head librarian for 18 years and a real pillar of that. And I remember people making a big deal about it at the time. And I guess at the time I didn't really appreciate what it was like for somebody to have that job for 18 years. And I don't know how to say any of these people's names. You can correct me maybe. Lucy Gangoni was the head librarian until March of 2010. So she was for maybe a year, give or take. Mark Contois was the librarian then for a couple of years. Wei Jiangchu was the librarian for a year. John Whedon was an interim librarian for, again, a year, give or take. And then Chris Kornowski, again, recently the head librarian for just a couple of months. And so I guess the question here is, like, are things okay at the library?
Yeah, things are great. And, when you read the list like that, the perception is a lot worse than the reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I sort of want to change our lighting here.
Sorry, I'm just going to avoid landmines here. Is that better?
That's way better, yeah.
All right. My head is just hitting the sun at the right angle. if you look at it in what really transpired, you had, and I'll start. I wasn't on the board from when Lucy was head librarian, but I can go from Mark forward. He came from Framingham, and for whatever reasons, he decided to go back. He liked it there and wanted to return there, so he did. Way was Mark's associate, and
Holy crap! All right. Well, now my shoes are full of water.
Flip-flops, Mike. Flip-flops.
I know. I shouldn't have worn these nice shoes. But whatever.
And when Way took over, she gave a commitment to the board of at least 1 year. She served for like a year and a half, and then retired.
Okay.
And I don't think that's anything wrong from an institution where someone can retire from. And this time was, we thought we had a selection for a long-term fit, and it just didn't work out that way.
Okay.
You look at all the positives that are going on there. You have the technology that we have in the libraries is really second to none nationally. We have a self-checkout system. We have a self-return system that has rapidly increased or decreased the amount of time from when a book is returned and it can go back on the shelf to be
rechecked out.
Yeah, reborrowed. To the One City, One Library initiative.
You should totally move around to the side of the bench. Or we should switch sides of the bench, because
right.
I cannot see your... Probably I can see your face, but I just feel like the sun is so weird. Well, actually, let's just sit on the same side of the bench. Right. We'll get you in profile.
Hang on. Can I put my foot down there?
This is professionalism. Right. There's been a lot of geese on this raft, ladies and gentlemen. We're really not going to show it to you because it's kind of out of control.
I'm not wearing shoes either, so that'd be a little taste of extra disgusting.
But, okay. So you were saying...
Bill Moyers has lots of goose problems on his set as well.
And to the One City, One Library initiative that has opened up, so far we opened up 3 satellite libraries in elementary schools to address the 3rd grade reading level. And in the short time they've been open, we've had huge amounts of patronage. The test results have really gone up for the students, and the community is really using them. And so you have a lot of vibrancy and activity and innovation that's going on at the library. That is the essence of what's going on. This wasn't the work of one person. It was the work of many. And that's where we've gotten here, and we're just going to find the right person this time around, hopefully. And
how much is this stuff relating to the future direction of the library, stuff that comes from the head librarian, and how much of that is stuff that comes from the board?
The board really sets policy.
Okay.
And the head librarian is a professional librarian, and they know the industry a lot better than we do. So we really try to hire someone with that vision that can advance the library to the next. It is a changing industry right now. Even though people are still renting books at very high numbers, you have a lot of technologies that are in play. People have Kindles and iPads, and you can go online right now and rent books from your home.
This is something, and Amazon now has just put in a thing where you can get as many books as you need to get for is it $10 a month?
I think it's $9.99. It's a subscription-based service where similar to like Google Play Music or Netflix or whatever. Something where it's all you can eat for a one-time monthly fee.
And they have like 600,000 books. Actually, I looked around there. There's a lot of books in the world. There were 600,000 books that I'm not particularly super excited about.
It's definitely a limited service to start. But, Netflix was very limited to start, too. I mean,
sure.
In the early days, there was not a lot of, one, content people were looking for, and 2, people who even got what the service was about. But I think the more folks dabble with services like that to fill in gaps in their own media consumption habits, the more attention gets drawn, and the more publishers come on board and are willing to let their products go for what ends up being a pretty significant profit versus what's viewed as a loss on the onset.
Well, and I gotta say, as a geeky guy who's always on the computer, for a long time I've felt like, as much as I love the library's kind of gonna go the way of the music industry or something. Like, how are you gonna compete with an ebook? But there's a ton of people at the library, Jim.
There are. I mean, it's not just a place you go to get books. There's literacy training there. There's so many services. There's story time for kids. It really is kind of a community center with all the programming that's offered there, and the involvement that it has.
And a book is great. Like, honestly, I get books from the library all the time. Like, I heavily use the website. I'm really getting much better at using my library account to make lists, like Amazon-style wish lists on the library website. So it's like I'm returning 2 books. I'll find the next 2 books on the list and put them on it. But books are great.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of years ago, one of my uncles he's really, really handy with things. He knows how to do electrical work. He knows how to do carpentry work, and he's an attorney by trade. So I asked him, I'm like, he cooks really well. I'm like, how'd you learn how to do all this stuff? It's really impressive. And he goes, look, he's like, anything you ever want to learn in life is in a book. He's like, you want to do something, or read about it, and you'll know how to do it. And it's been really neat. I mean, I've taught myself a lot from that, but.
It's kind of funny because, in a way, the amount of focus that's been put on the transitions, whether intended or unintended, over the last few years at the library, the amount of focus that's been put on the personalities, leadership at the library, in some ways, I think that's almost a good sign that the institution itself is healthy, because nobody's really focused on the institution, saying the institution's falling apart, right? I mean, there isn't really on the surface much to complain about the institution.
There's no chaos at the library.
It's probably, you could probably make a good argument it's healthier than it has been in a long time, and in some regards, if you look back only a decade or so, where funding was more of a concern and the direction of the library was more of a concern, the perceived chaos in terms of personnel, it might almost be healthy in a way, right? Like, people have a need to complain about something, anything at all, and you really can't make any valid complaints about the library. So let's focus on something that, in any other circumstance, would probably be considered normal turnover in a professional environment.
I want to ask you about sort of future vision stuff at the library, because right now we've seen a ton of changes in the library the last few years. Like, the whole process of checking out and returning a book is, for most people, definitely different, because now you're doing self-checkout, you're doing self-return. You can still talk to a person and they're there doing it, but most people are using the self-checkout. The whole DVD system is now this crazy robot thing that's giving you the DVDs out of slots. Now we have these bookmobiles that we've just brought on in recent years. Are there other similarly big things on the horizon, or are we stabilized for a little while?
Well, I mean, I don't think we're ever stabilized in that sense. We're going to keep looking out at every other option to grow. With the One City, One Library, we've started 3 schools now. We have a 4th and kind of lined up, ready to go. And if this is successful and we can get funding for it, we'd love to expand it.
How does the One City, One Library thing work? The library, you partner with the school to help run the school library?
Yeah. Well, what we've done is we've selected these 4 pilot schools. So right now we're open in Tatnick, Roosevelt, and Goddard. And what we do is we through the generosity of a lot of our kind of community partners, whether it be UMass Medical School really came up huge with $700,000. Harvard Pilgrim stepped up, the Alden Trust, and so many other kind of community entities really stepped up to help fund this. But we go into a school and pretty much gut their library.
Okay.
Put all new shelves, computers, iPads, a whole new collection of books, and we staff it with Worcester Public Library librarians. So during school hours, it's a school library, and then they're secure facilities, so we can lock off the rest of the school and just have a community library, like a branch library.
You don't mean a secure facility like in case of bomb attack. You mean like a secure facility
like you can't get into the school.
So you can just say now it's just this part of the library is open and the rest of the school we can close very cleanly.
Yeah. And so that's what we've done. And then
wait, so which schools are
Tatnick Elementary or Tatnick Magnet, Goddard, and Roosevelt.
Okay.
And then the 4th one is going to be Burncoat Prep, which is right on Burncoat Street.
So this means that people now would sort of have a neighborhood library again.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. And you can return books. If you go to the main library and get a book, or you go to Francis Perkins and get a book, you can return it in any one of these satellite libraries.
Or you can put a hold on a book.
Yeah, you can. you can put a hold on a book and have it on Monday and have it there on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So it really is branching our services out, and I think that's we can't be complacent, and even though we've had all these successes, we really need to take these successes and just keep growing. I don't want us to become stagnant in that way.
I'm glad you do it. Like I said, every year I think this is the last year I'm going to use the library, and every year I feel like I'm using the library more than before.
We've loaned out last year almost 1 million items. I mean, that's huge.
I wonder what the number one item was.
I don't know.
The 1978 issue of Playboy.
Hunger Games. I'm going to say Hunger Games.
Hunger Games? All right.
Maybe. I don't know. Now we're going to wrap up the show.
That's
It's
it?
something that everyone loves to talk about. Boards and commissions. This is a list of the openings on Worcester's municipal boards and commissions. If you want to have a role in advising the city manager on different stuff, or in some of these cases, making like decisions that are binding. In some of these boards, you're making recommendations to the city council, I guess. Is that an accurate summary of what these boards and commissions are doing? The library board, you're hiring and firing the librarian, the head
Decisions
librarian
will
or
be
something?
made.
You can be on these things.
Yeah, I mean, if a lot of people, if you read the Telegram and Gazette comment board, everyone has their 2 cents and their opinion, and they're quite eager to share it a lot of the time. And
You can turn that 2 cents into a nickel.
I know.
Join one of these,
Yeah, you
one of
got
these
it.
boards or commissions.
And this is really a way to give back to your community, and I really enjoy being on the library board.
Well, I want to read what these are, what these openings are.
All right.
Maybe if you guys have any comment, you can put in your 2 cents.
I have a nickel. I'm on a board.
You got a nickel.
Yeah.
We got one spot open on the advisory committee on the status of women, one on the affirmative action advisory committee, 4 spots open on the cable television advisory committee.
Out of how many?
I don't know about how
Has
many.
anyone checked to see if we actually have cable anymore
I think
in Worcester?
maybe
Is
out
that-
of I don't know. It says that there's 4 spots open and that you have to live in District 1, 2, 3, or 4, which
All right.
means there's probably already somebody in District 5 on that board.
All right.
I don't know. This is a paper that the city sent me. One on the Citizen Advisory Council, Civic Center Commission. But is that the DCU?
Yes.
Yeah.
One on the Commission on Disability. One on the Community Development Advisory Committee. 2 on that committee. 1 on the Conservation Commission. 3 on the Elder Affairs Commission. 4 on the GAR Hall Board of Trustees. What is the GAR Hall?
It's the auditorium, isn't it?
Granddaughters of the American Revolution?
Grand
Yeah, it's
Army something?
I think it's Granddaughters of the American Revolution.
Granddaughters of
I
the
don't know.
American Revolution Hall. So you think that's the odd?
Could be.
I think so.
I don't know. You could find out what it is. You can get on that board and you'll know what the GAR Hall is. Boy, I really don't know that much about Worcester. 5 on the Health Board. The Health Board is so much power that
If
they're
you get
getting
on there,
now.
can you do something about the geese in Indian Lake?
You could have a lot to say maybe about this whole blue-green algae fiasco. 2 on the Historical Commission, although one of those people has to live in the Mass Ave Historical District, the other in Montvale. 2 on the Hope Cemetery Board. 4 on the Human Rights Commission. 1 on the License Commission. You must be a registered Democrat for that spot. 1 on the Parks Commission, 1 on the Trust Funds Commission, 1 on the Worcester Redevelopment Authority. We don't talk enough about the WRA on this show, but you could be on it. And 1 on the Zoning Board of Appeals. The Zoning Board, I think, especially a powerful board that can have a lot to say about what's going on in the city. You gotta live in the city, and boy, I don't know. Like, I think the city tries to make it really easy to figure out how to join these boards. Maybe they don't do a good job, but like, you could definitely email us at piecopy@gmail.com, and we could connect you with somebody who's done it if you want to know how to do it. Go
Or
to
at
the
least
city's
make
website.
something up and point you in the wrong direction.
Yeah, we just go to the city's website or talk to people who you know who've been on this thing. So you said this has been a good experience.
Yeah, I've loved it. I mean, we've had a lot of successes, and there's a lot of really dedicated people that work at the library, and just being a part of that to help support them is really is really rewarding, and it's a good place.
I tell you, there's things about the way the city's run that frustrate me, but I fundamentally admire everyone who serves on the city council and everybody who serves on boards and commissions, because we got to do this kind of work if we're going to have a democratic government that's run by the people. And these are the people who are stepping up to say, like, hey, I want to help run the library. I want to help run the city.
Yeah, it's just, it's your little part. And, there are so many just dedicated public servants that actually do this for, as a profession. They do it every day. I go...
Watch your feet, Mike.
Are we coming up another... the waves are coming in again. If I fall into this lake with this camera, it's not going to be funny. This is very disturbing.
Yeah, that was...
Anyway,
they were right when they almost didn't let us off.
This is the way that I love to do a show, where we're just sitting here talking about, like, people should volunteer for... Watch out! Anyway, well, Jim, thanks for being on the show. Is there anything that you're excited about in Worcester that we haven't talked on the show today? Anything in particular?
No, I think, there's a lot going on in Worcester. I'm excited to see, when the selection comes out for the next city manager. That'll be pretty interesting because, to see what direction it kind of takes the development and the redevelopment of our city. And I just hope the person has expertise in getting rid of green-blue algae. And
yeah. Well, this is something we should mention too, right? Which is that, I guess, according to the schedule, the city council this week met with the company that is helping do this hiring of the new city manager, and looked at the list of candidates that they had, and they sort of had one-to-one meetings with each city councilor. Looked at the list of candidates. The city councilors were like, "These are the people I like. These are the people I don't like." And now they're gonna have another round of.
Do you know if those are public at all?
I haven't seen anything.
Huh.
Nothing. No, I mean, all I know is from reading the plan. According to the plan, didn't say anything about them being public. I mean, part of the plan is to have them, like the short list, definitely to interface with neighborhood groups and everybody in the world. So not only will they be public, but probably there'll be a ton of opportunities for people to talk with all the city managers.
Before you get to that list of finalists, whether or not the list of councilor favorites or whatnot would be public at some point in time.
I don't know. I guess we could ask the councilors. We could find out if they're willing to talk about that or not. I don't know. Anyway, this is an amazingly beautiful spot, if dangerous.
I'm going to be honest with you, Mike. The novelty of this island has begun not that island, but the island we're presently on has begun to wear off, and I'm more interested in finding out when our ride home is coming back.
I don't know where he is.
I don't see any boats.
Oh, there he is.
How far in the distance?
Yeah.
We got a ways to go.
Well, here they come. Well, anyways,
Jim gonna have to block
Jim Kirsten
minutes.
of the Library Board and of Sears Island, thank you for being on the Five Way Show.
Well, thanks for bringing the show down here.
Brendan Melican of West Tatnick, thanks you for being on the show.
Send the Coast Guard if you're watching this at home.
And I am Michael Benedetti. If you have any comments or questions or stuff you want to send me, you can email us at pieandcoffee@gmail.com. We appreciate your attention and your feedback on Facebook and on other parts of the web. Everybody, don't swim in this lake, but maybe you could come out and enjoy it for a little bit the tail end of this summer. From Indian Lake, this is the Five Way Show. The sun is going down. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.